Hopefully this focuses. Nice. You can see my mosquito bite. I have just become aware of a mosquito bite that is right here on my face. Hey, it's Ray, and today I'm going to be talking about probably the most requested / asked about / inquired about topics of all time. Sorry. I am going to be talking about how I actually lost the weight. Now, if you started watching my channel after my very first real YouTube video last year called, what is it called? A Day in the Life Student Dog Owner. And since then, a lot has changed. I will post a link to that video in the description box in case you're new to this channel. Oh my God, I forgot to do the intro part. If you're a returning subscriber,
welcome back, fam.
If you're new here, hi. If you want to join the show, it's a great place to be, but I digress. So if you haven't been watching me from the beginning, which let's face it, there's probably 20 of you who've known me since then, I am a super senior at Cal Polytechnic University in Pomona. I moved down to Pomona in August of 2018, so it has been a full 365 days, if not more, and it's safe to say that a lot has changed. When I first moved down to Cal Poly, I was taking part in something called the Whole30 Challenge, which I will also link down below in the description box. During Whole30, I lost about 10 pounds of water weight. Really, I kind of knew going into it that it was going to be water weight, and maybe half of that came back within the next 4 to 5 weeks. I'll put in pictures so you guys can kind of have an idea of where I was at body shape wise, but I ended up dropping a total of about 12 to 15 pounds before October and Halloween of last year. I did Halloween in the Bay Area, dressed up, went as little Scooby. About a week after getting back to Pomona, all of a sudden I was sitting in my apartment and I just got this really strong stomach pain. Oh my God, I remember this next part so vividly. It was, oh my God. I remember that even though the stomach pain kind of went away, the nausea was sticking around a little bit. I ended up running myself a bath, got in, was hoping that that would kind of take the edge off. And the second that I fully submerged myself in the hot water, I just started retching. And there wasn't really a whole lot to get back out. I would get maybe a minute or two in between episodes, and then all of a sudden my body would literally just start. It was so strong. Even the thought of sipping water, because I had no idea what to do, just the thought of trying to sip water was making me sick. At about 4 in the morning, the very next day, I had to, I'm not kidding you guys, out of a dead sleep, rise up because I could feel my body vomiting. Like I wasn't just sitting there ruminating in my nausea, I was physically having to expel something. The next day, the nausea and stomach discomfort kind of stuck around. All the resources I found said that something that was that intense, that quickly, was probably food poisoning, or if it persisted longer, it might be stomach flu. And it went away. So I went about my week as though it was just an episode. And 4 days later, I could feel that foreshadowing feeling in my stomach again. Oh my God. Let's add a quick note. If you have panic attacks, if you have really severe anxiety, I feel like you know what feeling I'm talking about. From what I understand, when you have these incredibly anxious or panic-driven attacks, your stomach gets this feeling, and it's a pain that I can only describe as the most intense hunger, but also nausea. I felt that feeling. I took a sip of water. The millisecond that water hit the back of my throat, I knew I was in trouble. What day was this? This was a Sunday. Okay, so Sunday night this happened. Kept throwing up entire rest of the night. Every 2 to 3 hours, I would start to feel really, really nauseous again. Hadn't had anything to eat since the first regurgitation, and I just couldn't stop throwing up. Monday morning, I woke up. I felt so weak because I hadn't been able to keep anything in, and the episodes kept happening. That entire Monday, anywhere between 45 minutes to 4 hours in between, I would get that feeling and I would have to throw up. And by the end of day 2, even though I knew I couldn't keep water down, I was guzzling water like an animal. This is gonna get graphic, y'all. If you can't handle it, skip to this time frame, okay? The gross part's coming. By the end of day 2, I had realized that I would much rather throw up bile mixed with water than just bile and stomach acid alone. My throat was ripped up. I could hear my stomach churning. I could hear it, digesting. I don't know what it was doing. By the end of night number 2, I still hadn't been able to successfully keep fluid down. I hadn't been anywhere near hungry. It was starting to get to the point where it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse. When you go for 2 days without really drinking anything, the toll that it takes on your body, day 3 of this whole episode was when it started getting scary. I remember waking up that morning, the same feeling, waking up to that feeling of, oh my God, here it comes. This time, all of a sudden, my hands started to go numb from the fingertips and it started traveling. My hands literally were locking like claws like this. I couldn't get them unstuck. Like I couldn't even feel them. That was when I started to freak out a little bit. I would start to feel this numbness. I was so lightheaded, I was so delirious that even holding my head pressed against both walls on the back and the side, I felt like I was just getting knocked around like nothing else. I felt dizzy. I was starting to see black spots in my vision. And I really started to think, what happens if I lose consciousness here? At that point, I lived by myself. I had only an animal. My parents are 700 miles away. Who's gonna know what happened? What complicated this entire thing was the fact that it was the week of Thanksgiving. I was supposed to get up and drive to the Bay Area that Wednesday to go hop on a plane to go to Vegas for Thanksgiving. That third day of this episode, on Tuesday, I went to the doctor, I explained what happened, I told her about everything, having had it a few weeks before, about the tingling, about my hands locking. Like, I was told that I had the stomach flu, prescribed Zofran, which is an antiemetic prescribed to chemo radiation patients to counteract their nausea. They sent me home with this anti-nausea medication and 2 liters of Pedialyte and pretty much said, I'm really sorry, this is the stomach flu. You're just gonna have to ride this out. While the really, really terrible episodes of vomiting and retching and literally being unable to even think straight, even though that went away and the illness did subside and I made it to Vegas and I did okay, I never got better. Some of the symptoms didn't go away. I started to notice I was still having that really gross, nauseous, but extreme hunger feeling almost every day. It would come and go in waves over the next few months, but I was nauseous every single day. What had previously been a really, really plentiful diet of healthy greens and high-fat proteins and low-fat proteins and high-fat omega-3s and all these different kinds of foods narrowed down to almost entirely carbohydrate. I sometimes couldn't even tolerate more than half a cup to a cup of food at a time. As school started to come to a close, this lasted from November of 2018 until June of 2019. In that time frame, I had multiple visits back and forth to Kaiser. Full blood tests, lipid panels, they checked my white blood cell count to make sure there was no infection, stool samples to make sure I didn't have bacteria or paramecium. I went through psychological evaluation to make sure it wasn't underlying anxiety, and they found nothing. Finally, all of a sudden, in June of 2019, this year, I got to a point where it got so bad, I couldn't eat. Like, I was wasting away. Metabolism was dead. I hadn't eaten and I couldn't eat. I felt sick. I felt malnourished and I lost so much hair and now I've got all, do you guys see? Okay. Do you guys see all of this super short sprouted hair on top? I went to this appointment. I didn't really want to go. I'd been putting it off. Even on the car ride to this appointment, I could feel the nausea starting. It set the mood for the day. Now, at this appointment, it was a doctor that I'd never seen before, hadn't met, and I told her flat out that I'm so sorry, but I am at this point in time really, really skeptical of Kaiser doctors. And for the first time in 6 months, someone sat there and actually listened to what I was saying. I'm getting flustered, I'm getting upset, I'm explaining how I've had this daily nausea, probably weekly or every other weekly vomiting that accompanied it. No one could figure it out. Blood tests said I was normal, a psych evaluation said I was normal, and they had no answer for it. She just stopped and looked down and kind of furrowed her brows and looked back up at me and said,
if you're experiencing all these digestive and stomach problems, why haven't they taken you off of your oral contraceptive?
And I'm sitting here like, okay, dumbass, you didn't even listen to my whole story. And she says,
you know, estrogen is an irritant to the stomach lining, right? I don't know if this is what caused it, but it's certainly not helping.
I just sat there, I was like, yeah, whatever, then take me off of it, because here's been 6 months of trying things that just haven't worked. The antiemetic they prescribed me, Zofran, didn't do anything. Didn't work. Nausea was still there. Thank you, Zofran. My OBG said she believed it was the combination estrogen birth control pill that I had been taking up until that point. And that because I lost weight from having a small bout of stomach flu, the dosage was now potentially too high for my current body mass. She instead advised me to switch to the ring. And within 48 hours of coming off the pill, I was completely symptom-free. Every day for 7 months, I felt like my stomach was getting churned like mother butter, and no one had thought to tell me maybe it's my birth control. They're gonna tell you that you have IBS. It's the most common digestive disorder. The digestive disorder that doesn't really have one specific symptom, and it also has no cures. Birth control pills, they're not as carefree as many health practitioners would like to lead you to believe. Nausea and vomiting is the #1 reported side effect of estrogen birth control pills. If you're out there and you're going through something, whether it's anxiety related, depression related, your mental health has a big change, your body physically changes, your nausea comes on like a train, take a look at the pack of pills that's sitting next to your bedstand. I have since made a full recovery, and I've been symptom free for 4 months. That's pretty dope. I have no more stomach discomfort, no more underlying nausea, and when I wake up in the morning, I feel fantastic. So for those of you in my DMs asking me how I lost all this weight, how can I lose that much weight in just a few weeks? Believe me when I say you don't want to. Even though a lot of my YouTube content is doing diet challenges like Whole30 and the ketogenic diet, truth be told, I really don't do a program like that more than once every 3 to 4 months. I kind of just do it more to challenge my willpower than personal interest. Number 2, it's just not a good idea to get yourself in the habit of needing to hop from diet to diet. What I eat in a day has definitely changed since this whole ordeal, and yeah, that's how I really lost the weight. It wasn't through the ketogenic diet, it wasn't through Whole30, and it wasn't from Gwen Stefani's workout plan. Although, that definitely did help me tone up, and that's gonna be in the next video. Thank you to those of you who made it to the end. I hope that this was helpful in some way to anyone out there who might be experiencing something similar, or to anyone who just thinks that losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks is normal. Because let me tell you, it is not something to aspire to, my friend. Through this whole experience, at my lowest, I dropped a total of 25 pounds in 2.5 weeks, and since then, I have maintained about a 30-pound weight loss. But again, metabolism's rocking, and I'm doing it with working out and eating plentiful amounts of really, really good food. If you guys are interested in seeing what I currently eat in a day now that I eat regular, please let me know in the comments down below. There's definitely a lot more videos that are pre-recorded and are coming in the future. And I know everyone's sick of hearing that. There's been a really big gap in posting, but I'm back and happy and healthy and ready to post again. I've made the decision not to include my personal weight as of now. I don't need any type of content whatsoever that's gonna trigger some man or woman to go do something rash. I love you. I appreciate those of you who are gonna shit on me for not including that. If you wanna know details, feel free to DM me on Instagram at InfamousRay, but it's something that I've chosen not to include in this video because I know that there's a whole sub-world of YouTube out there and I'm not here to trigger anybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this video wasn't too scatterbrained and all over the place, but honestly, just a little quick reminder to hit that subscribe button to be a part of the show. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Fridays. Go out, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys when we meet again.